Hello, welcome back. Happy New Year. I am here to share with you my reading plans for the month of January. This is the first TBR for 2023. I'm super excited. I have some rereads, read-alongs, new to me author, and some of these books are part of a series that I started at some point, but for whatever reason I didn't get to finish. But we are going to make this happen. Yes, we are going to make this happen. When I say we, I say you and me. We're gonna make this happen in 2023. And these are in no particular order. I will be reading these according to my mood, but definitely these are books that I'm going to be reading this month. Also, any links, stamps, timestamps will be in the description box down below, so make sure to check that out as well. If you want to jump to whatever book, you can do so. So without any further ado, let's just get started. Okay, the first book is The Fallen Kingdoms by Morgan Rose. This is the first book in the Fallen Kingdoms series. This is a YA series. This is my third reread of this book. This has been in my shelves for like a very long time, like 2014, 2015. I can't even remember. This is, like I said, my third reread. I love these books. Well, not these books, but I love this book. Every time I read it, I like it even more. So I don't understand why I don't continue on. Okay, I know 2022 I didn't get to read a lot of books, but we're not here to talk about 2022. We're gonna concentrate in 2023 because it's what we look forward to. Anyways, we follow four characters. First we have Cleo, which is, she's a princess. She discovers some type of magic. She's supposed to have magic, so she goes into enemy's territory to find out more about this magic. Then we have Lucia. She was adopted into royalty. She finds out that she was adopted and she wants to know more information. Then we have Magnus. He is, I believe, the love interest. I think it's gonna be some type of love triangle, which I hate, but at the time I didn't hate it so much. The beginning of this book was really good. The ending, the cliffhanger, I really loved it. And then we have the last character, which is Jonah. He is part of the group of one side of the kingdom, which are the merchants, and he joins a revolution, and I believe he becomes the leader of it. But we are going to get this read because this has been in my shelves for the longest, and even though this is the third time I read this book, we're gonna continue on with the series. We're gonna do this. The next book that I have is also a reread, and is Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. This is book one in the Farseer trilogy. I read this few years back. I think it was like 2016. I'm not sure why I didn't continue on with the series, but I love Fitz. He's a bastard. He's the king's bastard, and I know he has a gift that he can communicate with animals. I started already reading it. As you can see, I'm like chapter 3. I'm gonna start chapter 4, and I forgot what happened at the beginning of this book, and it just broke my heart. And even though I was okay with Boric, I don't know how to say it. In my head is Boric. Burek. He did something to a pup, and that broke my heart. And Fitz, and he's so good, and he just, I don't know, we get his story when he's little. Story starts, he's 6 years old. His grandfather takes him to the king because he's done, feeding him and taking care of him, and he wants the king to step up, and do the right thing. So his uncle, the king's brother, gives him to the stableman so that he can look after him until they figure out what they're gonna do with him. But that's all I'm gonna say. The Farseer trilogy, there's like 16 books in the, I believe it's the Erderling world or something like that. I'm not sure. There's like 16 books, and I want to continue on with the series until I read all 16 books. That's all I'm gonna say. I believe there's a read along for this. I don't know if it's the Grimoire. I'll put everything in the description box down below for read-alongs and channels and all that stuff. Then the next book I'm going to read is The Ember Blade by Chris Wooden. This has been in my shelf for a long time. One of the reasons why I didn't pick it up is because there was no release date for the second book, but I was looking into the 2023 releases, and I saw that the second book is due to come out sometime this year, and I just love it. All I know is that we follow two kids, and one of the kids' father goes to jail, and these two kids, they do something, they end up in prison. We we have two kinds of people and one overpowers the other, and of course the kids are part of the one that gets overpowered by the other type of people. That's all I know. I know there's magic. That's all I know. That's all I'm gonna say. I haven't read it, but when I first saw the book, ooh, there's a bookmark here. I haven't read it, but this is a big boy, but it's part of a trilogy. I believe it's called the Darkwater trilogy. Don't quote me on that. So I cannot wait to jump into this. The next book I want to read is Half a King by Joe Abercrombie. Another reread. I read this last year. I loved it. This is a YA trilogy called The Shadow Sea. We follow this young boy. He's disabled, but he is so good. I just love this. And this year I'm going to at least finish this trilogy so that I can continue on with the First Law trilogy, which were my plans when I first picked up the Blade itself. I really love the first book, and here we have so many, I mean, twists and turns, and I absolutely love it. And for what I heard, it's like the other two books follow different characters, but I'm still gonna continue on because I have the books, they there, so I'm just going to read them. The next book on this list is Vampire Academy by Rachel Mead. This is about a vampire academy. We have the good vampires, which are called the Moroi, which are mortal vampires. Then we have Strogoi, I believe it's called, and those are the immortal vampires. They're ugly. So anyways, we follow Lisa Dragomir. She's a princess. She's royalty. And also we follow Rose Hathaway. We get a little bit of romance, but I believe that comes in the second book or the third book. I'm not sure. All I know is that my favorite is Adrian, which we meet in the academy, and also he has a spin-off with Sydney, I believe it is, and that spin-off is called Bloodlines. That's my favorite, but I still enjoy this series. And like I said, we follow Lisa Dragomir, which is royalty, and Rose. For some reason they live in the mundane world, and they are called back to the academy. Rose is Lisa's best friend, but she needs to protect Lisa because, you know, she's royalty. If I remember correctly, the Strogos are after Lisa because she's royalty, and Rose, she is half human and she has vampire blood. That's all I remember. I also remember Dimitri, but he comes later on, which is the love interest. I love this whole series and everything, but Adrian, that's my baby. Okay, the next book I'm going to read is The Starless Crown by James Rowlands. This is the first book in the Moonfall series. This was one of my anticipated releases of 2022. It didn't happen, but we're not going to talk about 2022. We are talking about 2023. The second book comes out, I believe, this month, if I'm not mistaken, or in February. I don't know. I'm just getting ready to pick up the second book, so I wanted to pick up this one. All I know is that we follow our main protagonist. She's blind, I believe, and she also has a gift. She has dreams and nightmares, and one day she foretells an apocalypse, and she is sentenced to death by the king. So she flees, and on her way, she meets a group of outcasts, a drunk, a soldier, a thief. I don't know. That's all I know, but it sounded really good. I cannot wait to jump into this series. Okay, next up is A Million Junes by Emily Henry. She wrote The Love That Split the World, that I liked a lot. Her writing, that book was a little weird, but I remember loving the writing and the story itself. So when I saw this, I knew that I had to pick that up. I wanted to read it for the longest. I think it's time. You know, if I'm in the mood for like an ugly cry, I think I will pick this up because her writing is so good. Anyways, I picked this one up because it's supposed to be a retelling of Romeo and Juliet. We have two families that hate each other, and right in this book, what I like is that you get a family tree right there, and all I know is Romeo and Juliet retelling. I know there's going to be amazing quotes in here, and I'm gonna be like my heart, because I know Emily Henry's writing is beautiful. So this one, I need to read it. Like, I need to read it. The next book is The Children of Gods and Fighting Men by Shona Lawless. All I know about this is that I heard the brothers Gwyn and also their nerdy narration, the nerdy narrative. I'll put the links down below. And also on Instagram, I saw this going around, and I know that it was said that if you like The Last Kingdom, the Netflix show, you're probably going to like this. This is about Vikings and Irish mythology that I know nothing about, but I saw the cover and I was like, The Last Kingdom, that's my show. I watched it multiple times. I need to check this out. So I went and I treated myself to this book. It's the first in a series. I don't know what the series is called. I'm sorry. I'll put it down below if I remember. But that's all I needed to know. Okay. Remember I said at the beginning I have a lot of rereads? Well, this is another reread. Etiquette and Espionage. This is the first book in The Finishing School by Gail Gallagher. This is a YA series. I absolutely love this series. I read it back 2014, 2015. I remember that I loved these characters, and this reads like a middle grade, but it's actually, the plot is not middle grade. We have our main character. I believe her name is Sophia. She is a tomboy. Her mother can control her, so she decides to send her to this finishing school. She doesn't want to go to the school. She's not happy about going to this school. But when she gets there and she's at this school, she notices that this school is more than what it seems. So this school is supposed to train girls to be ladies, but the thing is, like, they also train girls in espionage. This book is a historical fiction. It takes place in the 1800s, but this world here is, when it comes to technology, is very advanced. So we have werewolves, we have girls dressing as boys, we have vampires, we have diversity. I mean, I love this book so much. When I read it, I hope I still feel the same way about it, because it was such a treat the first time I read it, and I wish I can read it for the first time again. But it's been a long time and I've been wanting to reread it, and I think this is the year. 2023 is looking to be a year of the rereads, because I seen other TBRs and other reading plans and everybody's like rereads, and I think 2023 is for, you know, treating yourself, being good to yourself, and reading the things that you love. And this one is a quartet. There's 4 books in it, and it's gonna be a quick read. It's, like I said, it reads like a middle grade, but the plot is not. It is historical fiction, steampunk. What else can I ask for? Now the next book, I just got it in the mail like not long ago, okay? So it's still in the box, but this is a reread. I believe his name is Theo from Rick Kindle, and Alan from the Library of Alexandria. I'll put the link down below in the Discord, Greenmore. They have the read along, all the information, how they're gonna break this up, because I mean, look at this. It's humongous. This takes place in 17th century Japan. We follow an Englishman named John Blackthorne, and he's lost at sea. He ends up in Japan in the 17th century, and that's all I know. That's all I can tell you. I'm going to try and keep up with the read along, because I mean, look at this baby. But I mean, I believe this was published in 1975 or something like that. I don't know, but this is crazy. Okay, so I'm trying to look for artwork, because there's some artwork in here, but I cannot find it. Where is it? Come on, be good to me. Anyways, we have map, and that's not the one I wanted. Okay, so book 4. So it's divided into books, like book 1, 2. I don't know how many books, but I know for January, I believe they're gonna do book 1 and 2, but don't quote me on that. I'm not 100%. And I believe April they're gonna do the rest. I'm not sure, but look at how beautiful this is, and it's heavy, kind of heavy. So far I have 10 books on this list. Now these are only 10 books, but because I'm a mood reader, at least in 2022 I'm leaving space for some romance, you know. But also, if I have time, I'm going to be reading this book, which is Sins of the Father, and is a mafia thriller by Vincent V. Davis the second, I don't know. Anyways, I saw this. I was scrolling through Amazon and looking for books, and Amazon suggested this book. I picked it up because it reminded me of Peaky Blinders, which is one of my favorite shows. that I have watched like 100 times. And anyways, that's all I know. It takes place in New York in the 1800s. Is mafia, and I just want to read it if I have time, if I can squeeze it, or if I'm in the mood to, like, if not, then I'll keep it for next month. I have a little bit of everything. I have on my Kindle, I have a new book by Jay West. That one is more smut, so I didn't put it on my list. That is one of those books that, you know, if I'm in the mood to like a little bit of smut, I'm going to pick it up. It's about a vampire that she released that book back in October, I believe it was, and I didn't know because I haven't been around much. But I'll put a picture here. I forgot the name of it. I know it has to do with blood and it's about vampires. It's a vampire dark romance because that's Jay West, my queen of smut, and I'm trying to collect all her books, but I want to read it on my Kindle to see if something that I want to buy. Anyways, these are the 10 books that I want to read that are a priority for this month. I'm really looking forward to reading The Children of Gods and Fighting Men. That's all that I have for you guys today. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.